And we're live? We're live? We live? Hello. I gotta see if this video is catching up. Looks like we might be. But I can't see any video. Can you guys see video? Is anyone on right now? If you can you see the video or nah? My thing is not providing me the stream. There it is. There it is. What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. It has been a solid minute or two since I've been on. I decided I would just hop on, say what's up, see how many people hop up in the chat. Let me check out the sound. I feel like there's an echo. Is there an echo? Might be. Is there an echo now? Oh, it's way lower though. All right, we're gonna keep it there. All right, y'all. Yeah, so it's been a minute since I've actually been on live. I have had to stream a bunch on my other YouTube channel, and I've just been pumping out videos on this channel, like actual videos for people to watch rather than going live. I just feel like, I don't know, it just felt better to do that rather than hop on live for recent stuff. So anyway, we were traveling for a while. We went out to Birmingham, Alabama, so I was gone, so I wasn't able to do some streams for a little bit. So we went out to Birmingham, Alabama. We went for the Masters CrossFit Games. And now we have to go to California in a couple weeks. So I decided I wanted to hop on stream today to just kind of chop it up, answer some questions if you guys have any questions. I don't know if y'all have seen my recent videos and how they're going and what I'm doing. But yeah, we're kind of stepping away from answering a bunch of POTS questions and videos. And just showing you guys fitness. And I'm going to create a couple of different series for the channel. I have a series like that I've been filming. Wow, I've been twisting this cap on the wrong way. That's why I didn't go on. So I'm filming my competition prep, obviously. Which just basically means I'm filming all of my training for the most part. I didn't film yesterday was an off day. Today I had training, but somehow I forgot to put a memory card in my camera. So I'm going to film just like a talking head video and post that tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, and just keep pumping out content as much as I can. It's hard. These lives are hard, and I'll just be completely blunt and honest with you guys. It's like I've answered all the questions for the most part in the capacity of which I feel I'm knowledgeable enough to answer. Sometimes I get questions where I'm just, to be fully transparent, I'm just not equipped to answer some of the questions. And I don't want to give out false information. I don't want to, get people's... Yeah, I just don't want to give out false information. I don't want, to be responsible for that. So sometimes I get questions that I'm just not equipped for, and then the same questions keep repeating themselves, right? Which is fine. I don't have a problem with answering them. But it's just creating content outside of just answering people's individual POTS questions is better for me because, number one, I own a coaching business where I answer people's POTS questions. I take consultations, things of that nature. And number Two, it's just, again, I've answered all the questions multiple times. I don't know how much more I can do it. And if I want to be of service and of help to people, I have to also enjoy the work that I'm doing rather than just answering the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So some things that I've been working on for the channel, again, I have a couple series that I've been doing. So one is just showing you guys my competition prep, which is me getting ready for a qualifier to qualify for a big CrossFit comp. And then hopefully when I get my invite, because I have qualified, then I can show you guys a real competition prep, what it really looks like, the ins and outs, the emotional ups and downs, things of that nature. Because even not at the pro level of CrossFit competition, not even at the pro level of CrossFit competition, it's very, very difficult to get ready for competition. It's very hard to qualify. And the prep to get there can be really overwhelming, really emotional. When you want to do well, right? Because what I'm doing is I have not said this in the video yet, but the category that I'm going to be competing for, that I'm going to be trying to qualify for, is the Elite RX division. So what that means is, you guys have probably heard of the CrossFit Games at least, which is the Olympics of CrossFit, basically. People in the division that I'm going to be competing for a spot for, Elite RX. Elite is where the semifinals people you would normally end up. So the people who are right on the cusp of making it to the CrossFit Games. And then some of those people will trickle into the RX, so the division that I'll likely make. And so that's just an indication of my fitness is where it needs to be if I ever want to take it to the next level. So I'm going to show you guys that, and I'm going to show you guys whether I make it into the comp or not. Because another thing that I could do, because I've had so much time off from my neck injury and my back and stuff like that, is I could just go be a shoo-in and do the intermediate division. It's not guaranteed, but it's pretty, I would more than likely make it in the intermediate division if I tried out for that. But I could just do that and then just make a series out of trying to get there, but I want to earn it. I'm not training twice a day anymore. I haven't been for almost a year. So qualifying for Elite RX is going to be a feat in itself. But I think it's going to happen. So I think it'll be cool to show you guys that and show you guys the ups and downs emotionally, physically, mentally, not spiritually. Spiritually, it'll always be, what it is. That's always a battle, right? That's what faith is. But it's also strong. But also health-wise, if there's a detriment to my health because of the higher volume of training and stuff like that, and show you guys pot stuff through that too. I just want to show you guys that it's possible to manage your symptoms or go through symptoms and still be able to compete at a higher level. And so that's one series that I'm working on. The next series is going to be a really, really tough feat. Actually, I should say this. I have a couple of series, like I said. That's number one. Number two is I'm going to start compiling videos. I've already started editing these. Compiling videos and series of exercises to do for certain body parts, and make it kind of fun. So one thing that we did, I'm going to basically give out free programming for glutes. So I have been filming my girlfriend. She decided that she wanted to improve her glutes. And so I've been filming how I would take people through, because I used to be known as the glute guy in my area. That's what chicks used to come to me for training. Been filming the exercises, sets, reps, and progressions that I would do for somebody who wanted to improve their glutes. And I'm just going to throw those up on YouTube week by week, and however many days. She's doing 4 days right now. 4 days, including her CrossFit stuff. So we're just going to film that and then put them out alongside of the competition prep. And then after this competition, something that's going to be a big stretch is I don't even know what is the race called? There's a big mountain bike race that I want to do in Colorado. I forget what it's called. I don't think it's Moab. Leadville, the Leadville 100. Um, yeah, that's something that I actually have become very, very interested in doing. And I think that it'll be something to get prepared for that. And I think that if anything, like to show you guys with pots that you are capable, you are able, and you can recover and all this stuff. If anything, I mean, CrossFit in itself is like very trying. But if I could pull off the Leadville 100 mountain bike race, I mean, the amount of people who already say it, you don't have pots or whatever, the amount of people that would say it from that, holy nuts. But that would be kind of the point. That's kind of the point at this point for me is, yeah, I don't know. You know, people don't think that I have this thing. I don't really give a shit anymore, dude. I just don't care. Like if people comment that now, whatever, doesn't matter to me. You can think I don't have pots. You can think that I do have pots. The only person that I gotta be and stay true to is myself, God, my family, and that's it, and my friends. Right? I could give a shit now about the accusations of not having pots and stuff. I think the proof is in the pudding. Go back and watch my old videos. You know. So yeah, that is going to be what I think the next series is going to be. After I finish up with the CrossFit competition stuff. So I'm thinking long term, broad spectrum, you know, that type of shit. And that's what's on the list. You know, a mountain bike. I used to mountain bike often. I got to buy a new one because I don't have one anymore. The mountain bike that, you know, I'm looking at is about $4 or $5 grand. So I'm not going to purchase it right now, especially because I'm in prep for something else. But yeah, so I'm the type of person that doesn't really want to buy most things if I don't have cash to buy it. And not that I don't have cash to buy. I don't have, you guys get what I'm saying. I don't have cash to buy that right now because it's not a necessity, right? You get what I'm saying. So if it's not a necessity right now, I don't want to buy it. And that's not a necessity right now because I'm not even going to start training until probably spring for the Leadville 100 because I think it's in fall. I actually think it's coming up soon in like a month or two. Let's see. Did I X out of that link? Why'd I do that, for? Google Leadville. Let's see, when is it? August 10th, 2024. No. Maybe? I don't know, maybe. Maybe it already happened. Whatever. That's like I said, that's on the list of goals. So probably by spring is when I'll actually start training. If not before. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, those are the plans, guys. I'm thinking long-term, broad spectrum for this channel. I just want to have fun with it and show you guys feats that you can do absolutely 100%. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. If you guys are liking this live so far, hit that like button. But I just wanted to come on here and chop it up, bullshit, you know, talk to people that want to talk. Maybe you have questions. Let me know what the questions are. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling, you know. Something that I'm really trying to do as of late too, because, you know, obviously more so because now I'm prepping for a competition, is every time I travel, I'm not skipping any sessions. Like I'm not skipping any workout sessions, which I would traditionally do. I would traditionally not work out when I go out of town, unless I can find like a really fast, convenient way to work out, to train. But now training has become, again, a non-negotiable for me no matter what. So we were in Birmingham and I trained every single day except for the prescribed off days. And dude, I'll tell you what, my fitness is there. So a few weeks ago, about a month ago, actually, I like kind of threw my back out during really stupid thing. I have noticed one thing, and I would really implore you guys to explore the same thing if you are somebody watching with POTS or somebody that gets injured easily or frequently, as I have gotten a lot of injuries the past few years. Dude, there's definitely an echo on here. There's definitely an echo. What is it? Huh. What the heck? You guys don't hear an echo? Really? There is a freaking echo. There's an echo. Could it be this? Let's see. Hello. Man, whatever. Okay. Whatever. Oh, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Somebody help me out here. DJ Dace 96. What's cracking? Occasionally there is an echo. Yeah, there for sure was. Oh yeah, I threw my back out. I somehow injured my back. So this is something I would really implore you guys to kind of explore if you are somebody with POTS or somebody that gets injured pretty easily, because I've had a bunch of injuries in the past 2 years. I've really noticed that I get injured when some sort of like emotional, like either emotionally or some sort of like really stressful event happens, in my mind and body are like in stress. So yeah, we had to put my dog down, which was really tough. And then we had to travel like immediately after that. And then when I got back, so I was detrained, I was stressed, I was, obviously crushed, I was sad. We went to the CrossFit Games, and then the CrossFit Games stuff happened. We get back, and my second day back to training, or first day back to training, we did not ease back into it. We just kind of went for it. And I hurt myself on like the dumbest movement. But the craziest thing is that it took me out for like 3 weeks. Took me out for like 3 weeks of training. Basically, all I could do was like cardio. And like single joint movements. So I decided when I started feeling better, when I wanted to stop babying the injury, that no matter what, even if I was out of town, I am not going to take off from training. And let me tell you what, I'm feeling good. It's a non-negotiable now, because traditionally I would take off if Heather's competing or if we're going somewhere for like work or business or whatever, but now it's definitely a non-negotiable in terms of like sticking to a training program, because I would always work out. I just wouldn't stick to a training program for the sake of time or whatever. Now it's a non-negotiable. I'm just always doing what I need to do, doing what I need to get done for a few different reasons, And yeah, feels good. So the thing that I would tell you guys to explore that I was talking about before is like try to figure out, even with POTS, right? Like, when do you have the most symptoms? When do you get triggered the most? For me, it's definitely around stressful times or like traumatic times. And I know that I see that with a lot of my clients. There's a lot of my clients that, I check in on them emotionally as well. And I try to get like a history of emotional stuff. And more times than not, POTS was brought on during a very stressful period of time, not just random. And, or they're still dealing with a lot of trauma that they think that they've dealt with, but outwardly it doesn't seem to be that. It doesn't seem to be the case. And what's interesting is, and I had this talk with one of my clients this week, was they were telling me that they're having these like weird symptoms, and it happens like so much. It happens every night, blah, 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 blah. And they're telling me that they're not stressed. And I was like, that's really interesting that you say that, because from all the lifestyle things that you're telling me, you seem stressed. Like, these all seem like stressors. And the person was like, well, it's not registering as stress to me. And I'm like, what's funny about that is that your body does not recognize stress from a, just take this for what it is. It doesn't recognize stress from a car accident away aside from stress from a relationship breakup. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously in a car accident, you're going to get hurt. There's going to be damage to like bones and blah, 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 blah. But the trauma is the trauma. You know, the emotional and mental trauma and damage that happens is still the mental and emotional trauma that happens. Your body doesn't register whether it was from a car accident or you getting into a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or you know, you getting a ticket from the police or whatever it is, right? Or you hearing that you're I don't know, that somebody passed away or whatever. Your body doesn't register the reason for the trauma. It just registers the trauma. And that's something that we used to say in lifting all the time, right? Was that your body doesn't know the difference between 500 and 400 pounds. It just understands the difference of load and the stress that it puts on your frame and your CNS. That's about all that your body understands, right? It doesn't know that you loaded 500 pounds on the bar opposed to 405. It doesn't know that. So I think that a lot of people, especially in the, I always say, especially in the POTS community, and then somebody tries to cancel me, but especially in the POTS community, is like they don't recognize like trauma as a thing that can be had without really knowing it, or stress. So a lot of people don't really recognize being stressed because they categorize stress a certain way rather than recognizing that stress can be from a whole host of things. And again, that's also talking about me. Like, I may also not think that I'm stressed, but then come home and bitch about a whole bunch of stuff from work. And then my girlfriend's like, "You're stressed out?" I'm not stressed out. I don't feel stressed out. And she's like, "But you're bitching a bunch." And I'm like, "Oh, that might be true." That doesn't happen often, but like that can also be true, right? I'm not just saying that people with POTS are like completely, you know, unaware of their life or anything like that. But I'm saying this can be true. You know, it can be true for a whole bunch of people and for a whole bunch of reasons. So yeah. DJ Dace 96, stress seems to be a huge contributing factor. Yeah, I have seen so many different people with POTS, with different types of POTS, or whatever, however you want to categorize it. And every single time, it has not ever just been, you know, I think sometimes what happens is when I talk to somebody in the first place, like, people don't always give you the full spectrum, right? They're not always going to give you the full spectrum. They're like, "Here's what I'm going through now." And then they don't really think about like, what were the contributing factors that got me to this point, right? And they don't, like, sometimes they just wipe it away too, because they're like, that couldn't even matter, right? Like, imagine like you had to put your dog down. That could not even matter because this is something that's happening in my body. I feel like I'm going to pass out. I feel like about all this stuff. So the dog thing, no, couldn't be part of it. So people don't give you all the variables in the beginning, but as you get to know them better and better, it usually turns out that like this usually 95%, I would say, of my clients, it usually turns out that something traumatic happened in their life, and then boom, POTS comes on. And so it makes sense too that could be the case. And now I'm not saying that that's the only reason. I'm just saying that that is the most common denominator that I have seen for people with POTS on how they got POTS. Even COVID, right? People might be like, "Well, mine was from a virus." Again, stress on your body, right? Stress. Like, don't look at stress so one-dimensionally. Yeah, stress. And it's crazy to see it. And it makes sense because if you think about it, right, what is the thing in your body that's supposed to help you deal with stress? Or what's the thing that gets affected the most? Your central nervous system, your CNS. So yeah, to me, it makes a lot of sense. There's a decent amount of people in here today. Let's ask some questions. Let's get to chatting, right? I've had to keep up a bunch with like the CrossFit stuff, the CrossFit drama. I don't know if any of you guys are clued into that. But man, is the CrossFit drama getting spicy, dude. There's a lot of drama. Let's ask some questions. Let's talk. Come on, guys. Don't leave me hanging here. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me all alone. Let's all be friends. Can you guys hear my neck when it cracks like that? I seen your video on supplements. How often do you take Element? That's a good question. For me, personally, this is a supplement question that I am comfortable asking, or I'm comfortable answering. A lot of people ask me about supplements, and I'm not very comfortable answering specifics on my supplements for the specific reason that I don't want people duplicating what I am doing. But how often do I take Element is really dependent on where I'm at in my competitive season, to be totally real. Non-negotiable for me is 2 to 3 packets a day. And a lot of that can depend on like how I'm feeling as well throughout the week. So 2 packets for sure, 3 most days is what I'm taking. But sometimes I'll only stick to 2. And then I've taken up to 4, like on average per day during competition preps. So like I was working out twice a day for a long time, and I was taking 4 packets of Element because I also had to train in the heat to get acclimated to heat. And so, yeah, I was training twice a day, taking 4 packets of Element, plus dosing creatine and salting everything and drinking about, I don't know, anywhere between 128 to 170 fluid ounces of water along with that. So, yeah, I'm on Gatorade, but there is a lot of sugar. Yeah. You know, I'm not the biggest fan for Gatorade, or, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Gatorade or Gatorade powders for people unless you need it to train. If you're one of those people, like when I was training twice a day, I was using Gatorade powder. So it was nice for the electrolytes, but the most important thing was like getting in enough carbohydrates and sugar. So if you're somebody that is back to training or back to working out and you're doing a lot of working out, I think Gatorade powder is a pretty good strategy to hold on to energy and stuff. But yeah, I understand that Element is pretty expensive. But for a lot of people, when I talk to them about Element and supplementing, they're spending their money on a lot of other dumb shit. And supposedly they want to get better with POTS. And so I tell them, hey, you want to get better, you want an easy supplement, just dedicate your cash to getting better right now, and then worry about, you know, the dumb shit later. And that's just me being an honest person, right? It's like when people say, oh, healthy food is so expensive, I don't know how I'm going to be healthy and work out and, you know, be fit. I'm like, well, you got your priorities messed up, and that's all right. However you feel, whatever season you're in. Thank you, brother. When did you happen to change to mainly a mostly meat diet? Do you feel a major difference? So I've gone basically carnivore in more recent times. So like probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I've gone majority of the time carnivore. I go on and off carnivore, like the caveman diet, whatever you want to call it, because I eat meat and fruit and honey and cheese and milk. Um, I go on and off. There's some times that like I need more carbs. Like right now, I'm not sacrificing performance, for all this, so I need to eat more carbs. And to be totally real, like if I only got my carbs from fruit, I'd have to have like pounds of fruit a day, and I just can't do that because it's not efficient, right? I can't go to the grocery store every single day to buy fruit. So yeah, but do I feel a major difference? Yeah, I do. I do actually. I feel way more mental clarity when I'm just eating meat and fruit. Way more. Um, and I also like my stomach. I've always had bad stomach issues, like just like bloating and just like shitting, like not like normal shitting, like emergent shitting, like shits. Um, so yeah. I feel a big difference. But I gotta say this too. um, I'm the type of person that like I know when I'm lacking in nutrients. I know when I'm lacking in something because I will crave a salad, which is like my girlfriend's always like, "What the hell? How do you crave it?" But like I will crave salad randomly. And so that to me tells me that I might not be getting enough folate or something, but like literally I'll be like, "Oh, I just want the nearest salad." So yeah. Yeah, I like it. If for those of you the guys that haven't tried it, for a lot of my what's it called? A lot of my clients, I actually when we're doing elimination diet, a lot of them I'll put on meat and fruit. That was weird. A lot of them I'll put on meat and fruit. That wasn't weird actually. There was a bus. I'll put them on meat and fruit just because of the simplicity, right? It's easier to tell them meat and fruit for an elimination diet because it gets rid of a whole host of categories of food. Um, and a lot of times it ends up working really well. And then we slowly reintroduce foods back in. So it's not that I think there's anything like magic to the meat and fruit thing. I just think what it does is it really eliminates a bunch of foods from your diet, and then you get like kind of an immediate cleanup, I guess, of your gut as long as you're willing to stick to it for weeks at a time, like 4 to 6 weeks. Um, and then when you slowly reintroduce foods back in because you've taken everything away, you have a really good idea of what actually messes with your stomach. So when you bring it in, you get to observe each food and how it actually, like, how your body responds to it. So recently, I just had a client start to reintroduce certain foods back into her diet, just one at a time, though. It's a very slow process. So she's been on meat and fruit for, I'd say probably like 7 weeks. And this week we were like, all right, let's reintroduce rice back in. So far I haven't gotten any messages from her saying that rice is messing with her stomach. So we'll do that for a week. Then next week we'll add in one more food. Then the week after we'll add in another food, that type of thing. You guys get what I'm saying? I'm tired today, guys. my my son started school this week. You're welcome. My son started school this week, so I've been having to get up early, dude. I've been having to get up early. And I'm a guy, I didn't used to value sleep so much, right? Like growing up, I was insomniac, dude. I was just like insomnia like crazy. And of recent years, I have no trouble falling asleep, which is like by the grace of God because I sleep good and I sleep hard. But damn, dude, these early wake ups when I go to bed at like 11 p.m. are crazy. The older I get, the more I value my sleep. The older I get, the more I value my sleep. It's wild. Let's keep on these questions, guys. Let's keep it going. You have a consultation site? Yeah, dude, it's in the link below. It's in the link below. I'm only accepting 4 more clients at this point. 4 more, yeah. Only 4. Actually, might be 5. I don't know. Let me look. I have my laptop and my iPad on me almost at all times now. Well, I have my iPad on me at like all times for sure, but yeah. Yep. 5 clients. I have 5 openings as of right now. So guys, I'm opening this up to you now. What kind of content do you guys want to see? Does what I'm talking about sound interesting? You know, do you guys want to see all these preps, or do you want to see these series and stuff? I know that you guys initially subscribed to this channel and wanted to be a part of this channel, you know, and watching my lives and stuff because you wanted to talk about POTS syndrome. But again, I just feel like of all the content that I've put out there, I feel like I've basically covered everything that I could cover that's within my scope, right? Like I'm not a doctor, so I'm not an expert on like everything like that. So yeah, I think that showing you guys more like trials and tribulations, the things that I really try to do, are I guess it's more productive and better, right? Like I don't know, it'll give the opportunity for more content, but are you guys interested in that stuff? Like, do you want to see somebody with POTS not really talk about POTS and show you guys the ins and outs of their exercise program and their modality and what they do? You know, do you want to see me go through this prep and then be like, oh man, hey, these were the symptoms I was feeling today, and this is how I dealt with it. Or I'm not feeling that good today. Here's what I'm gonna do to combat it. Like, do you guys want to see that type of stuff? How many of you guys watch these lives, don't interact, but just watch them as like background noise, like a podcast? Ielki de Jones. I don't know how to say your name, man. Sorry. Got a question. Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on introducing more intensity in your exercises? How do you do it, and how do you assess risk? Yeah, that's a really good question. I guess man, it's like a complicated question actually. I've been trying not to just spit words out when I'm answering these questions because it can be very complicated. How can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on introducing more intensity in your exercise? Yeah, so I guess it really depends on like where your fitness is at currently. And this looks different for a lot of people. And that's why I think, especially as somebody with POTS, this is not a sales tactic. This is just the reality, the truth of what I think, what I believe. I think that that's where like a coach comes in, and that's where a good coach comes in because it's so individual per person, right? Like, it depends on what you mean by intensity and what exercises and how you want to incorporate more intensity. So intensity, obviously everybody knows, is just making workouts harder, but what department, like in your aerobic capacity or in your anaerobic capacity, because it does differ and it has to be a fine balance between the two because you don't want to burn out. And I know as I say this, it could sound like fear mongering. It's not meant to be that way, but it's just the reality of it, right? I've definitely ramped people's up too fast or ramped people's programs up too fast before and had to deal with the consequences of it. And then I've also, like, for the most part, done a really good job. That was in my earlier years. Done a better job at like ramping people up slow. Generally, what I think is that you ramp up your exercise intensity anaerobically or aerobically depending on your symptoms and how you feel overall. So you as a person with POTS should probably do all of the things, right? Which is journal how your days have gone, journal what symptoms seem to be getting better, what symptoms seem to not be getting better, or that stay stagnant. And as symptoms are like kind of pausing, like maybe they're staying the same, not getting worse, not getting any better, you can slowly and incrementally be moving stuff up, such as weights or maybe longer cardio, or maybe the same, maybe less cardio, but faster, harder cardio, or like the same cardio, but more of it, you know, that type of thing. And then, but if you're somebody whose symptoms are improving, then you move up intensity with the improvements. And basically, how I gauge things is like, I like to do things super objectively rather than subjectively too, right? So it's like, because a lot of somebody's going to get triggered and try to cancel me on this too, but a lot of POTS symptoms, when they go on, like when they go on for a long time, a lot of it turns out to be mental. And that's not like saying that they're not dealing with anything real. There's a fly in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's not to say that they're not dealing with anything real, but, and I have this talk with a lot of clients often. Hey, objectively, your program says this, but every time we get on the phone, you say this. And so we need to get this, the mental portion, to match this, because objectively, all of your numbers and all of your stats and all of the you know, the outcomes that I've been asking you for are right next to a normal person's. I'll give you guys a good example. I had this one client, she was a girl, and she had told me that one of her goals was to run a mile, but she was scared because of symptoms, blah, 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 blah. Objectively, all of her symptoms have gotten better. And I never told her this, but she had already been running a mile every week in one session. It was just split up by intervals. She had already been doing that. So I had to tell her, hey, so-and-so, look, I never told you this, but you are already doing that. You just haven't done it in one go yet, and your symptoms have gotten better. And objectively, your fitness is way better. You have all of the things, you've checked all the boxes, all of them. Now it's here. It's here. So we have to get this thing to follow through with the thing that you want to do, because objectively, everything else is, the boxes are checked. And then that person went on to go run a mile straight. So sometimes it's just getting your head straight. And then other times it's like, if you're like down, and if you're down bad from POTS, making sure that you take the right steps necessary to get to somewhat normal life and start improving your symptoms, and then gauging the way that you increase incrementally based on the symptoms that you're experiencing or lack thereof, or, you know, if they're just staying the same. I know that that was a long response. I hope that that answered the question. Let me know if it answered the question or not, if you have something more specific that you want me to try to answer. I've been watching a lot of political stuff lately as we get closer and closer to the election. Oh, man, it's not looking good. It is not looking good, dude. I mean, the pundits are just going crazy. They're going wild. And Elke de Jones or Jong. Another thing is risk assessment. That's an interesting thing to say too. And I'll probably get canceled here as well. You guys like how I'm prefacing everything that I say with like, I'm going to get canceled for this. There's reasons for that. The risk assessment thing is really weird to me too, because in most cases, and you guys have to remember that my girlfriend works in hospital as well. So I'm not just, this now is not just subjective experience or, objective experience based on the clients that I've had, but also, experience in hospital. Objectively, there's not a lot of risks to assess for. Most people with POTS do not have other comorbidities, or the comorbidity that they have generally. Now somebody's going to say, but some people have actual stuff wrong with their heart. But we're talking about generalities, like the majority, the exception to the rule. I can't even believe that I have to address this type of stuff, but I do based on recent, comments and all this stuff. The majority of people don't have a serious comorbidity like along with POTS. The comorbidities that generally coexist with POTS are being over fat and being undernourished or underweight. Those are the two things. And both of those, can be dangerous comorbidities, but they're not like something that you have to assess for risk with, right? Obviously there's like joint problems and, all these things, but nothing like that's going to kill you. The majority of people with POTS don't have something that is going to kill them. The vast majority do not have something that is going to kill them. And POTS is for sure not going to kill you. And I know some of you guys have come on here and some of you guys have, emailed me and sent me messages that you think that it's whatever, that you think that it's like bad that I don't address that, people with POTS die or whatever. And one person, like no one can send me anything that has to do with somebody just dying from POTS. Somebody literally sent me an article that said suspected death from POTS while using drugs. What? So you want me to believe that it was the POTS and not the drugs, or not the drugs with the POTS? You want me to just say POTS? You know what I mean? That's like when they did the thing with COVID where they're like, this person died in a motorcycle accident, but we're counting it as a COVID death because they also had like, get out of here, dude. Like, come on. Let's be real, right? I also have POTS. It's not me being insensitive. It's just me being real. So the risk assessment would be more so like, does this person actually have a history of syncope? Do they actually have a history of passing out? Have they really passed out before, or have they gotten close, right? That's something that I've heard time and time again, is that I've gotten close to passing out. And I go, well, speaking objectively, speaking from, a mind outside of yours, if you haven't passed out, you don't know that you've been close to passing out because you haven't had the experience of passing out. So you don't have anything to base that off of. And that's just being real, right? People can black out. Lots of people black out. Even people that don't have POTS, they black out and they never pass out. That does not mean that you were about to pass out. It just doesn't mean that. It's scary, yeah, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that that was what was about to happen, or that you were even close to passing out. So if the person has a history of actually passing out, which again is not the majority of people with POTS, it just isn't. The majority of people with POTS have this fear of passing out, have a fear of heart problems because they've seen the scary horror stories online or the Reddit threads. But the vast majority do not pass out. The vast majority do not have actual heart issues. So the risk assessment would be, do they have any other comorbidities? Do they pass out? If they pass out, why do they pass out? I've had clients that passed out often in the mornings, and it turns out it was a malnutrition problem. They weren't eating enough calories. So, and that's happened a couple times. And every single time that I've had a client that passed out, it was because they were malnourished. They were undernutritioned. So it's never been like due to POTS. We have fixed it every time by adding more calories in. Because when I assess their calories and the amount of food that they eat, it turns out that they grossly undereat. And so we bring the food in, fixes the problems magically enough. But if it's not that, then why are they passing out? What positions do they pass out in? Are there specific positions? Are there specific movements that make them have presyncope and actually pass out? We assess it like that, and then we build up tolerance. So, Yelke de Jong, this makes sense. Thanks, especially the part about mentally and no death from POTS. I actually am at a level that I can do aerobic exercise on a road bike. I don't pass out, but won't I worsen symptoms? I don't really understand your question. Why would you worsen symptoms? If you said that you're at a level where you can do aerobic exercise on a road bike, why would that worsen symptoms? If you introduce more intensity. Well, my argument to you would be you have been adding more intensity. And as you have gone from whatever you started with to now being on a road bike, did your symptoms get worse? Or did they get better? Intensity is defined by basically what you are able to handle, right? So like, for me, something that a lot of people were scared of in the CrossFit world was getting rhabdomyolysis, which is basically your muscles breaking down the proteins going into your bloodstream and then your kidneys failing, right? It's an extreme example here. But I don't define intensity by am I going to get rhabdo or not. I define intensity by how am I feeling from the workout? How hard was it in comparison to what, my fitness level is currently at? What state am I currently at? So if you increase intensity, an increase in intensity could mean that instead of riding 23 miles an hour on your bike, you are now riding 25 miles an hour. You are riding 27. You are riding 29. That type of thing. Progression in intensity can be very small. So I guess I don't really know what you mean by introducing more intensity. Like if you're a normal functioning person and for the most part and able to do most things, able to exercise, an hour a day or whatever it is, do I think that you could go and do a CrossFit class? Probably. Yeah. Do I think you could do F45 or Orange Theory or, Burn Boot Camp or something? Yeah, probably. I just think that a lot of people with POTS are very hesitant to do so. And we froze. Okay, we're back. Does that make sense? Speaking of element, I really need that right now. My order was supposed to come in. And it hasn't. What the freaking heck, dude? To answer your question, I mean with intensity like anaerobic intervals, really pushing yourself because my own doctor advises against it. doctors have to say things like that because they have like insurance that they have to appease to, right? So like doctors have to tell you things like that in order to protect their own ass. What I will tell you is that your GP is not an expert on POTS. I might not even be considered an expert on POTS. I probably am not. I'm just a dude that has POTS that has defied all odds and helped other people defy all odds. Your doctor's not an expert on POTS. Your doctor has to say things to save his ass in case of a lawsuit. And that's what they're always thinking of, you know? So like my girlfriend, for example, is a, what's it called? My girlfriend is a PA, and she'll say the same thing. You know, doctors are retarded, basically, is what she says, because they'll tell you not to exercise. They tell you to rest when you're hurt. And a lot of the research on injury prevention or injury in general is that you should keep moving. Doctors just say things to save their ass, you know, and that's not a fault of theirs. This just is what it is. You know, they have to. I would too if I was making the kind of money that they're making, you know, $300,000, $400,000, or $500,000 a year. I would absolutely try to be saving my ass because people are going to try to take you for a lot. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he can't give you a real reason why you shouldn't be doing that stuff. My argument would be that if you want to get more fit, you want to get better, or you want to be able to handle interval training, that you should probably be doing interval training, because interval training has been shown in a lot of the research to improve cardiovascular fitness, to improve heart function, pulmonary function, blood pressure, you know, heart rate regulation, all these different things. So there's so many benefits to anaerobic or aerobic interval training. But again, one thing that like I said is that you should be testing the waters. Like, don't just go in and send a freaking, you know, 30-minute Tabata or something like that. Like, do something small, and it doesn't have to be super intense. It could be like, you know, a 20-second interval at like 70% effort, and then resting for a minute, and then the next week increasing to 80% effort, and then 90, and then 100, and then bumping up your time. That type of thing. Like, you should definitely always, like, I mean, even regular people, normal people should be just like running progressions on those types of things, because it's not good for anybody to completely send a workout out of nowhere. It's not. Dude, I can't read these freaking chats, bro. Your remark about I'm going to assume that says doctor. Very true. Yeah, my favorite thing is when my favorite thing is when doctors who are obese or drink a lot or smoke cigarettes try to give you health advice. That's my favorite thing. You know, health and fitness advice. That's my favorite thing. Doctors get one class on nutrition throughout the entirety of their training and try to tell you how to be healthy. It's like, I have my opinions on doctors and Western medicine. A lot of you guys already know them. But for those of you that are new, I think that Western medicine does a very good job at emergency medicine. And, you know, some things might be emergent even when you just go to your GP for a regular checkup, in terms of, like, you know, if you have high blood pressure and they need to figure that out right now, because you're going to die tomorrow from an aneurysm, they know how to fix that. But I think that in terms of like longevity and actual like health, wellness, fitness, stuff like that, like, your doctor is not going to prescribe you an exercise program, unfortunately, which they probably should be able to do. Your doctor is not going to prescribe you a diet, which they probably should be able to do, or at least give you proper diet advice. Your doctor is probably not going to tell you what supplements to use, which they probably should be able to do. So, I need salt because your boy is tired. Yeah. Your boy is tired. And you guys ever know you need salt from like you're craving it? That's where I'm at right Alki de Jong. Okay, thanks, bro. All this very helpful. Really appreciate it that you take the time. Yeah, dude. Of course. That's what I'm here for. If you need further help, go ahead and hit that link in my description. Chris Masterjohn, how lactate alkalinizes your muscles. Alkalinizes your muscles. Huh. I like Chris Masterjohn's shit. If you guys don't watch him, go watch him. He's a good watch for sure. Dude, where is UPS with my elements? I'm going to get pretty upset over this because I need it now. I'm thirsty. And if there's one thing about me, your boy does not like plain water. He does not like plain water. Wow, one of you guys already messaged me via email. You already emailed me. Crazy. Very cool. What are you guys thinking? All right, guys. Well, if we don't have any more questions, then I'm going to be. All right, here we go. I don't have any pot symptoms in the evening. Should I exercise in the evening? Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think that'd be a good idea. Why don't you have any pot symptoms in the evening? Wonder what. Huh. Do you eat in the mornings? That's interesting. From 4 p.m. on, my pot symptoms starts to disappear. Interesting. In the evening, my standing heart rate is 80. Around 100 to 120. Huh. Interesting. Do you take caffeine in the morning? What's your hydration like? Have you gotten your cortisol tested? There's a lot of things there. There's a lot of things there. I can even shower with super hot water in the evening and heart rate does not go above 100. Huh. That's interesting. I'd be really curious about your eating schedule and how many calories you eat, what your hydration protocol looks like if you take caffeine, and then lastly, what your cortisol looks like, fasted cortisol in the morning. That's interesting though. All right, guys. Well, it looks like that's going to be about it. So I should do a cortisol test during a day. There's one you can check 5 times during a day. I would just do your standard cortisol test. That's usually in the morning, fasted. That's what I would do. Oh, I don't think that there's any reason to check throughout the rest of the day if like the morning is when you're having issues. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious. I mean, I'm not just curious about that though. I think that POTS people are always looking for the answer for what kind of tests they should do and what kind of like things they should look for, rather than looking intrinsically at like what their lifestyle looks like. So like I said like 4 other things, right? What is your hydration like and when? What is your feeding schedule and how many calories are you eating and how close to bed? How, in the morning, what does that look like? And do you drink caffeine? There could be a whole bunch of reasons why your morning heart rate is 100 to 120 and then tapers off by the end of the day. So there's a lot of lifestyle things that you could be, assessing first. But yeah, I mean, the last thing that I would do after assessing lifestyle and what kind of sleep are you getting? That's really important too, because people that lack sleep or don't get good sleep tend to have a lot of issues like that as well. But yeah, then the last thing that I would do for sure is check cortisol. I've actually had clients before that I didn't even believe had POTS syndrome because of the symptoms and the timing of like stuff like that. And when you get a lot of the lifestyle stuff in check, just like normal lifestyle stuff in check, you know, this stuff magically goes away. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy. It was fun coming on and chatting with you guys. I don't know when I'm going to go live again next because I'm pumping out some stuff for my other channel and this. I'm going to just try to do it sporadically. Try to do it when I feel like doing it. you know? Yeah, and then make sure you guys go watch the other videos on my channel. I'm going to be pumping out. I'm going to try to do at least 4 to 5 videos a week, even if they're only like between 3 and 10 minutes long. I just think that putting out stuff is better than nothing. So hopefully you guys like that. Go like the last video that I posted for me. If you have any questions, hit me up. Follow that link in my description. Go send me an email. If you want coaching or if you want to inquire on coaching, we can talk, have a consult. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully pretty soon. Peace out. Goodbye.